Here we are, final series for Vivi and Classic Pro, and the way it seems is whoever wins this series between these two will stay alive and be black and platinum for the next season, and then whoever loses will be relegated. There is an outside chance, with still Tato Sobek yet to play, that if Vivi wins 2-1, and then Sobek 3-0s Tato, that Sobek would survive in 4th place in this group, and Vivi and Classic Pro would be relegated. That is extremely unlikely, in my opinion, because of how Tato is looking, but it is still possible for Sobek. Byzantines for Vivi here, Nilly, and then Magyars for Classic Pro. Give me your thoughts on the approach from Vivi here.
Well, Vivi, we obviously know that he is a player that played Civilizations a bit off meta. We have seen him play a lot of Burgundians, Cumans, and Spanish over the years. And here, Byzantines feels like a counter pick to the likely cavalry that is coming from the opponent. Wants to get onto a lot of camels, but can he survive is the big question.
Yeah, very different type of players, right? Vivi's more like, Vivi's not the guy who's going to kill you fast. Vivi wants to draw the games out. And I think Byzantines really suits Vivi's style because Vivi's never been a guy who gets amazing value from low numbers of units. That's not him. It is instead like, let's make as many units as possible. Let's spam as much eco as possible. And Byzantines, even if they're behind in economy, can sometimes win games. So I like the pick. He also won against Sobek's Franks a couple weeks ago when they played in group stage with Byzantines. So this is Vivi picking a civ that's worked for him before. And Classic Pro on the other side, he's like kind of the opposite of Vivi, right? He picks more of the meta picks. He will go for high aggression with low numbers. And he will look to end this quickly. And I think particularly because of the civ matchup, he might look to really pile on pressure here.
Yeah, and then the question is, what army compositions are we going to see in Feudal Age? Like, mass scouts will be matched by mass spearmen. Then you kind of want to mix in archers maybe, then skirms from the other side. And most of the time, the player with a better micro then wins.
Yeah. You know what Vivi did against Sobek was he opened range. He just went spear defense and had the range available if the opponent would switch archers against the spears. And then at one point just said, okay, I'm going forward with like 3 spears, 3 skirms with my starting scout. And he actually killed a Vil. It's just like such an awkward little army to deal with. So I could see it working again, maybe.
Yeah. Then the question is kind of Magyars. Do they want to play archers or do they want to play skirms with their scouts?
Yeah, it's a very fair point. Classic Pro will definitely aim for numbers. Both players have pushed in quite a bit of deer, as one would expect. Map is Land Madness. There's resources spread all out throughout the map. Players should know this by now. And pretty hard map to wall up. So I would expect Vivi to go for the tiny walls around his wood line instead of any full walls. Yes. But he would love his full walls. I'm sure he's going to try that at some point here in this series.
Graveyards. This is the map where he went wild against the Viper. Like, tried to wall, kind of unwallable map.
Did you see the map that he had versus Sobek?
No.
Okay, so this is what happened, right? So Graveyard's open map. You know this, right?
Yeah.
So he picks Burgundians. Somehow gets the most ridiculous little map where he's like up against the edge of the map, back stone, back gold, full wall do his TC at like the 7th minute with Burgundians. And just went like Feudal Age, boom, into a castle. The rest is history. He booms, Castilier, he wins the game, right? Players brought up like, hey, that's not Graveyards. That shouldn't be possible. Are you guys going to do something about this? We were like, yep, we're already looking into it. We fixed it. We made the script more open. Next week, Vivi, I'm guessing he didn't even know we changed the script, picks Burgundians again. And I think he was just like, well, there's still a chance I get a really close map. And now for this series, I think he's going to try it again, Nilly, because he picked Burgundians. So hoping to get to the unique unit again.
Yeah, probably not aware that map changes are happening during the tournament, right?
Yeah.
Most players like do scouting, like, or not at all, or some do before the tournament.
Yep.
Rarely do people like actively check map changes.
Yeah. Well, we did post it. It was there. He did encounter a very open map generation versus the Viper. I still feel like in his mind, he's always going to take that risk. And maybe he feels like he needs to take it to stay alive in Platinum. Vivi has clicked up. He's going to be a bit later than Classic Pro. That is to be expected here. And again, we're expecting Spearman from him.
19 by Classic Pro. And yeah, base could be really compact for sure. Interesting early farm by Vivi. Something we don't see too often.
Yeah, that is old meta. Vivi's been around a long time. And Vivi walls up his woodline. And Vivi, I'm wondering if he'll even make the range. It actually feels like he will because he's saving the wood for it, but I think in some ways you could maybe justify just going for a couple spearmen. But yep, there's the range.
Could have been eco upgrades before as well, but can't afford the wood upgrade. Not unlikely that he goes for the farm upgrade as well. Like, he can't do a lot of pressure. The game will be relatively slow for Land Madness if Byzantines are involved.
Yeah. And there are situations where once you're at 4 scouts, especially with Magyars, you can start to snipe individual spearmen. But it feels way less exciting doing that against Byzantines because the spearmen are so cheap. It doesn't feel like it really costs your opponent that much to make a spear or to make a new spear, you know? But I think, watch this. We're going to see Vivi do the exact same thing I mentioned. He's going to go Archer, maybe another Skirm. Yeah, is he just going to go forward? Yep.
1 Archer, 3 Spearmen.
Oh, it's such a Vivi thing, man.
Overchop potential in 40 wood, but now, yeah, sees that and won't go for it. Everything else is walled, and the scouts shouldn't find anything.
Yeah, nice quick walls there from Vivi on the other side of the berries. Classic Pro sees the other berries, though. Vivi with no reaction here yet. So Classic Pro could actually block that villager and kill it. Look how hungry Classic Pro is for damage, but still won't find it. It's just such an interesting player, this Vivi guy. Like, there's so much that you see from him, whether it be civ choices or play styles, which is just so unique compared to other players.
Yeah.
But it could get the job done because he hasn't been broken. His eco's pretty solid. And the 1 archer being combined with the spears and the starting scout could kill multiple villagers at Classic Pro's base.
Yeah, archer range a bit on the late side after 6 farms here. And now let's see. Oh, actually takes a hit there with the scout. Is he committing against the villager? Could make sense. Scout on the wrong side, though.
Yep, starting scout, really important here. And starting scout does get hit a few times. That's actually really valuable here for Classic Pro, who isn't fighting back right now with the villagers just yet. And I think that villager's going to end up going down. Well played, Vivi. First villager kill, and still could get more.
Will be tricky now, though. The scout is kind of the key unit in this one, though, because most of the time units can just run away and the damage output isn't that crazy and chasing potential not really there. So taking the 2 hits there against the spearmen was really nice.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Can you do me a favor and just pause wherever you're at just for a second? I screwed something up here. I'm pretty sure if I adjust flags in game, that it pauses for me for some reason. So just going to fix that. What time are you at?
13:56.
Oh, okay. Perfect. Right. 3, 2, 1, go. We can continue. My apologies. Classic Pro patrolling around for damage is going to see Vivi goes out to the gold. So that is quite a juicy area to pressure, if you ask me.
Ooh, villager on the wrong side of the quick wall. Tries to save itself. 10 HP. Oh, this could be 2 dead vills.
Yeah, it should be 2 dead vills. It's worth sacrificing the scouts for this. And Vivi might have killed 1 on the front, but he loses 2 right there. And again, that is a very awkward area for him to defend. He has 7 spearmen, Nilly, with another one in the queue. He's just going to continue.
Still lost 2 vills.
Yep.
Still lost 2 vills. And you see, that's the difference, right? Andy, he played a similar style with like mass spearman defense against all the scouts. And kept his eco a bit tighter.
And it's always been a bit more of a relaxed style from Vivi. He would prefer numbers. But like the relaxed, lazy type of style with this type of army is so hard to be concise when you micro against it. Here he goes again. Now with skirm numbers, Classic Pro could kill this. Nice quick walls from Vivi as he correctly towers the front. I really like that decision. And there goes it's now 1 archer, 4 spearmen, 5 skirmisher army from Vivi. And Vivi's just going to loop all the way to the back of Classic Pro's eco. Classic Pro has not played a player like Vivi this season in this group.
Ah, yeah. And fletching makes a big difference here. Could be a dead villager if nicely microed by Vivi. Oh, no body block, which was needed.
Yeah, kind of body blocked it there. Maybe paying attention at his base because Classic Pro continues to just circle around the wood line and the berries. Skirms for Classic Pro do not have fletching. And he is losing some of his spears here. His wood line also really tough to work with here. He has a pretty tiny wood line. Vivi's wood line that he started with a little bit larger here. He also had better saturation on it for a while here. And Vivi focusing down the skirms, keeping the spears alive, hasn't taken more losses at home, and he's just staying in the game. And his resources are climbing as he thinks about Castle Age.
Quite interesting. Wheelbarrow now mixed in. Seems to be more and more of a trend here in Feudalation, especially Hera becoming more of an advocate for it. And Skirms still happy to take the fight against non-fletching.
This is working for Vivi. As unorthodox and as weird as it is, it's working against one of the best civilizations we've seen on this map, right? In the Magyars. Now, of course, after I say that, he's going to take quite a few losses here with his army. Maybe was looking at home and thinking about some decisions there, but not too bad from Vivi. I can see the argument for this type of play, considering it worked before, and he ended up doing the damage he's done thus far.
Problem is, like, Classic Pro could never really fight with the army that he wanted, right?
Yeah.
You want to have the range units and the scouts together. And then it's so tricky for the opponent to take proper fights, because it's so much easier to micro for the more mobile player. And yeah, here it seems like Vivi could just do a lot of damage.
Yeah, and where does Vivi take these scouts and skirms now, which could actually give him some problems? Into the very back corner of Classic Pro's base. So now you don't have to rely solely on spearmen. You could rely on camels. Vivi dropping 2 stables at home. Also thinking about booming, because he's got villagers going out to the stone, so he can recoup the loss from that tower.
Yeah, makes lots of sense. And would love to see him add some more villagers on gold, though. Like, really awkward mining camp, only 6 on gold. Yeah, tries to get there with the mining upgrade, but still, can't produce too many camels with this.
No market yet either, so it's just something to think about. The scouts for Classic Pro still could be disruptive here, because they'll get the attack upgrades. And then speaking of disruptive, Vivi now sitting here with soon forging spearmen and a skirmisher, and has just found some damage that Classic Pro never expected he would have to deal with.
Yeah.
God, I would hate to play Vivi, dude. Because like the strategy is just so hard to counter, and it feels like he does such a good job at taking control of the game. He's like, "Oh, you're Magyars, you do extra attack? That's fun. Haha, deal with this." And now here again. Yeah. Oh, you're in Castle Age soon? That's fun. Deal with this.
I played a best of 7 show match against Vivi once, and in one of the games he even douched me.
Oh, that was a while ago. You've improved a lot since then.
Yeah.
What was the score? If you don't mind me asking.
4-1 I lost.
Okay, all right. That's still respectable. I once played him, beat him, thinking he was playing serious, and then I found out later he was playing with one hand, because he was smoking with the other, and then he was idle for the first 2 minutes of the game. This was when I was like 1700 on Voobly, but yeah. Oh man, camels just rushing into this exposed area for Classic Pro, and like, what is Classic Pro gonna do here? He's gonna make knights, and the cheap camels are already here, and his gold's exposed. Doesn't really have anything to defend this. He didn't really make any of his own spearmen.
He needed crossbows.
Yep. Could have considered it. It feels like, for as predictable as Vivi is with how he plays sometimes, or unpredictable, I guess. He's predictably unpredictable. I think Classic Pro, when the strength for the Magyars couldn't work right away, maybe he stuck with the wrong unit composition here. I would have even liked Cav Archers as a choice.
Archer's tricky, obviously. Byzantines can go for lots of options. I think you need 2-unit composition against Byzantines.
Yeah.
One unit always easily gets countered by Byzantines.
He did lose a monk or 2, but he did convert a camel. Still has some skirms, still has knights trying to pressure. Vivi's defended very nicely, though. And I'm always putting my money on the camels at this point. And I'm always putting my money on Vivi when he's got that second TC up. On the front of his base, 2 TCs producing. Classic Pro still 1 TC, and every single attack that he goes for just gets pushed back by Vivi as another monk goes down.
Oh, before the conversion very, very quickly. And conversions in the back there. Just looking really good for Vivi.
Wow, so good from Vivi, dude. So good. And this is what I said. It's like when Vivi has lost this season, it has looked bad, right? There's been some, like, multiple sub 20-minute games. Classic Pro has put up a lot more of a fight. But I think a lot of that is because Vivi just goes in with no confidence against players like Tato, Viper, and Leary. And he has very little self-belief there. But if you're up against a player who's maybe more his strength, or more his level, then he's going to play confident and play clean. And, maybe there were some sleep issues. Maybe there were some energy issues. I don't know. But Vivi's come to play today. So Classic Pro is going to have to turn it around.
It simply is a group with 2 different levels, right? You have 3 players in the top 5, and then 3 players that we consider to be somewhere between number 20 and 30 in the world.
Yep.
So you always will look differently against Classic Pro and Sobek than if you play against Leary, Viper, Tato.
Yeah, 100%. There was Sobek, Classic Pro, and Vivi all promoted as well because we had some players drop out of plat. So we had 3 promoted players in this group, whereas most of the others had 2, which also plays its role in how that all has looked. But yeah, Vivi with the lead, in my opinion now. Classic Pro, 2 TCs. He's going to have to find an army to beat the Byzantines. I would like to see Classic Pro realize that the camels were weak there for Vivi.
Sometimes tough to see, but
yeah,
look at that. He pulled away the 1 HP camel, but the 7 HP camel apparently was good enough for fighting.
I love the investment into Lycav here from Vivi too. Knowing his opponent's monks is going to be the reason his camels might not be able to engage. 3rd town center for Vivi on the stone. So economy stronger for who I consider to be the underdog here, Vivi. I mean, he is the underdog in terms of wins. He only had 2 wins coming into this. Classic Pro had 3. Classic Pro won 2 games against Sobek, and then he won 1 game against Tato.
True. I think we need to switch into another unit here as Classic Pro.
Yeah. I agree with you, and it could be, the resource layout a little awkward to maybe switch into CA or something, but anywhere he goes, Vivi has defended. And Vivi can see it all because he's Byzantines, right? Immediately garrisons here on the front of his base, is getting attacked, gets a conversion there. The skirmishers getting killed by camels, the knight in the back's being chased down. It's like Vivi's defended from virtually everything, but as I say that, nice job from Classic Pro as finally he finds some damage there on the farms.
Yeah, maybe a bit of an overreaction. They're sending 6 camels against the 3 skirmishers.
Yeah.
1 camel would have done the same job, and then the other camels could have maybe defended the raid a bit better. But easier said than done. He obviously didn't know that the big knight attack was coming from the bottom.
Yeah, Vivi also was raiding with the Lycap at the same time. So in a lot of different areas there. Probably looking for kills on villagers and monks with these Lycap. He will choose not to engage for now. He might dive back in there if he thinks the monks are following. But big find with the camels.
That's quite some losses here for the knights. Can we see 2 more kills? Or awkward regrouping for Vivi. Maybe some units to intercept there. Not really being sent.
Yeah, Vivi did also loop back in with the Lycav. Killed the monks as well. So he didn't kill all of them, but he killed 2 or 3 of them. And I've seen it so many times. I know what comes next. It's got to be a forward castle from Vivi. Or a defensive castle, but with that much on stone, a castle's definitely coming. And Classic Pro has to find a way to hold the map again.
Defensive castle with a unit that you want to build your... split against monk conversion. Defensive castle with the civilization where you want to go for the unique unit, such as Burgundians, and aggressive castle for Vivi here, most likely, in a situation where you just want to increase your pressure.
Especially when you see the TC positions. There's hills right in front of Classic Pro's TCs. It feels like that is actually the perfect position for a castle. Now, Classic Pro's going pikemen. If he had like 10 pikes with these knights and the monks, I would think that the castle could be denied. And look at Classic Pro's idle TC time. 30 seconds this game.
Big.
Really, really impressive stuff.
And you said the 10 pikeman number would be nice. The castle is still like a minute away. Oh no, but Vivi, even buying stone and send the villagers nice and early.
Yeah.
Oh god, those barracks will be built and can't really produce. Now the monks, can they get conversions?
Yeah, they could get conversions. And conversions would obviously help, but you still have to kill the army from Vivi, and you still have to kill the villagers. Also, Classicpro raiding in the back right now. I don't know if Vivi's looking at that, so a lot of chaotic things happening. The monk for Classicpro blocking the foundation. You shall not build here. But there it goes, and there's no way that castle gets denied.
Raids are coming in. Some camels for the defense. Also some conversions. Light cap under the town centers. Still finding quite some kills, but Vivi not too shabby with his raid.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, yeah, you've killed more villagers than I have so far. But once this castle's up, I will have control over both of your town centers, and Classicpro is certainly going to lose more here. And in a series that I said before the game, that I thought Classicpro was going to win 3-0. Vivi showing his strength here, and he wins the first game on Lands Madness. He uses the Byzantines, plays defensive initially, and just made it so difficult for one of the most aggressive Land Madness civilizations to ever find damage. That was a really good game for Vivi.
I think it came down to composition problem for Classicpro. I think we needed to have an archer knight composition, and then the camels aren't really as efficient anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with you there. And he did go skirms at one point, but even still, it was like he couldn't group up the scouts and skirms to ever be effective because, honestly, because Vivi went forward, right? If Vivi stays at home with the spearmen and the skirms, I think that Classicpro just can freely move forward and try and figure out some damage there. But it was like right when Classicpro was about to maybe group up his scouts and his skirms on the front, Vivi just have another little AI army waltzing forward, looking to find damage. It was so good. Just played towards his strengths, defense first, and aggression last. Vivi with more eco that game. And now, in terms of live standings, they're both at 3 wins. Still, the winner of this will likely stay up. And then the loser of this series will be relegated. We know that much. And here we are, and man, Vivi, he looked tough to break in that first game. He's got the Burgundians, and I told the story in the first game. He got a closed map generation once. He tried to get it again, and here he is trying again. The Burgundians still could be pretty good. You could play safe with some small walls, but taking some risks here, Vivi, with the lead in the series, and then Classicpro, the Mongols. I expect a lot of scouts, a lot of lancers, and a lot of aggression because he wants to tie this up.
Yeah, this is. It would be a wild one if Vivi can make this one happen. It's a super open map. Burgundians won't have any advantage unless they get to the eco upgrades or unless they get to mass amount of relics. And Mongols short distance, gold and berries to the front. This would take a miracle defense for Vivi to hold this.
And it's like, for Vivi fans, you watch the first game and you're just like, oh, that's beautiful. Oh my God. Yes, Vivi. He's so unique. That's so cool. Well, Vivi fans, if this doesn't look good, it's just because it's Vivi, right? He picks Byzantines for the same reason that he's picked Burgundians, because he's comfortable with them and he wants the higher eco approach. But I feel as though in order to really make use of having the Burgundians, you have to wall so much here. And then it almost feels like your eco's not better than your opponent's, right? Researching the eco upgrades in age earlier. For that to invest, for that to pay off, normally you need your villagers to be safe. It's going to be tough to find some safety.
Yeah, and some people feel like, okay, maybe a small wall could help out. But how do you small wall this and still include a gold or even the stone?
Yeah. Yep. Precisely that. So kind of a funny story, because again, it says like just Vivi things is basically the theme of what I'm driving at here. So in the previous 2 rounds, I was fairly critical towards Vivi. I didn't feel like he gave himself a position to succeed, even with his draft, right? And he had picked the Bohemians on his first wave of his draft in the previous 2 sets. Never played them on any map. So first wave of the draft, picked Bohemians. And then, of course, he had lesser civilizations available for other maps. So anyways, I reached out to Yo because I was like, man, what's going on? I said, Yo, do you know why Vivi picked Bohemians in his first wave of his draft? Can you tell me? Like, why did he do it? Because it was bothering me so much. And Yo goes, I asked him. He doesn't know either. He just felt like it.
He just felt like it. To not pick, like, if he felt like it, he can play them maybe. But just draft them and not play them? What kind of feeling is that?
I don't even have an issue with picking the Bohemians. Go ahead. If you're feeling like it, do it. Don't pick it your first pick. Because what happened was in both of those sets, for those that didn't watch it, what happened was he then didn't take a really good civ for the maps that are going to be played, because the Bohemians was not it. And then he was heavily out-civved because he had a weak pick. So it was like Koreans on migration instead of, he literally could have picked Dravidians instead or something, right?
Oh, wow.
So, but that's Vivi. Like, it bothers me because I feel like Vivi's way more skilled than I'll ever be. And he's not giving himself great chances at succeeding. But you get wins like game number 1 because it's Vivi. You know, you got to give, you get some crazy stuff on the good and the bad end of the spectrum.
Yeah, and it simply is an undervalued skill by viewers, certainly, and also still by some top players, that drafting simply is a very relevant factor in tournaments. And we have seen some sets being decided before the first villager moved.
Yep. Yeah, at a high level, you have to give yourself the best chance of success based on what strategies work and what strategies shouldn't be possible. Now, Classicpro, he never played against a player like Vivi this group, right? And he's going to do the same thing he did in the previous game. He wants to be aggressive, and he's up even faster than the previous game. He has more food in the bank than he did in the previous game. And he is ready to kill this guy and be aggressive. And what does he see? Full wall towards the TC. So, say what you want. Vivi's got the Feudal Age wood upgrade already. He'll have the double lumber camp setup. He doesn't have the stone fully walled in or the gold. But this is starting to look like a situation that Vivi could possibly do something with.
Let's take a look. A bit of jumping. We see Classicpro now with a stable. But stables shouldn't achieve too much, right? This has to be a follow-up by archers, or maybe only build like one scout and then defend with your own spearmen, and then either like a step lancer or CA play.
Yeah. And obviously barracks will come up for Vivi, as Vivi will probably think about spears. Vivi going to run away with his scout, and he doesn't want to lose HP on the scout before Feudal Age, so they're doing a little bit of a dance here. Oh, that was really funny.
And this was with high ping as well, so
Yeah.
really well played.
I like this.
Ooh, forward villagers.
I like this a lot. Because you know, like, Vivi's just going to small wall and make spearmen. So, making it messy, this is a change of approach here from Classicpro. He's going to drop a tower. Vivi does not see the tower. He may see the tower, but I'm not sure what he does upon seeing the tower. There's our
Gives
answer.
up the area. Yeah, and this is exactly how Viper played as well.
Yep. Yeah, Viper did this with Dravidians, and he figured that Vivi would be happy to just wall up and play towards eco upgrades. So, I mean, at least here, yes, the eco upgrades are in for Vivi, but he doesn't have the berries. And that's a pretty big deal.
Well, we still have more sheep compared to the Viper set here.
Yeah,
but
Yeah.
map control will be tricky.
I mean, but what I'm seeing is Vivi's going to stone. He's going to stone, even though it looks vulnerable. Classicpro actually never scouted that. Classicpro's not on stone, so he can't make more towers, at least yet. And what Vivi wants is he wants to not lose vills. He wants good eco upgrades. He wants farms, and he wants stone, Nilly.
True. And he still has a gold that Classicpro didn't scout either, further in the back.
So honestly, I think Vivi's style, it completely counters fast scout builds. Right? If you want to go for the archer builds, I think Vivi could have more problems against it. Well, what are you doing, Vivi? What's happening here?
He's going aggressive. What?
Okay.
Well, he sees that there are no spearmen out for Classic Pro, right? So Classic Pro can't take a fight.
Vivi is towering the wood line of Classic Pro. If you would have heard that sentence before this cast, you would have thought that Vivi was forward at Classic Pro's base.
No. Not the case here.
Well, actually, what he can do, though, is he can shoot down the tower from Classic Pro and eventually take his gold.
Yeah.
Which
That's
is
why I thought the tower would be a bit more defensively.
Yeah, like next to his gate now.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, he could go down. Ooh, that was really close. All right, well, Vivi brings the Spearman over. Classic Pro runs away. Would you feel a little frustrated if you're Classic Pro right now? Like, you would have wanted more damage by now? Like, what would you be thinking?
You should be thinking about the next steps, right? Okay, I can't do damage here. What are the indirect damages that I can do?
Yeah.
I can prevent my opponent from getting all the relics. I can prevent them from getting gold on the outside. I can prevent them from going anything but spearmen.
Yep.
How can I take advantage? I could get 8 relics. I could get 2 calf archers. I could get to Mangoda if I wanted to. I can go 3 TC while the opponent has to play 1 TC and get his castle up, right? There's so many steps that you have to do, and that's why this is not meta, because there are lots of ways how Classic Pro can still take advantages.
Yeah, and he's been patient here, right? He's been patient. He killed a villager there. He's now has transitioned into the archers. The previous game it was skirms. The archers will do a lot more damage. Now, yes, Vivi can drop this tower. And of course, Vivi could maybe tower his stone as well. But then those are towers that that is stone, that is being spent, which takes Vivi further away from the castle. So I really like Classic Pro's approach to combine that and call it Classic Proach. And for Vivi, we're still seeing why no one else picks Burgundians here.
Yeah, it simply is a different graveyards, right? We had different versions from graveyards, but it feels like this is the version we have played in most tournaments over the last year.
Yep.
The super open one.
Yeah, there used to be water versions. I don't think water versions have been in tournaments recently. Interesting.
Oh, not really, no.
Interesting tower from Vivi, because it does open up an opportunity for Classic Pro to attack the base of it. Still probably something Classic Pro's not going to want to play around with.
Debate it.
Yeah, he's just going to move away. Speaking of moving away, 4 villagers are still chopping wood in the middle of the map. And Vivi's favorite building, and a building he very much needs now, going up in the market. But he's just got 300 more stone to mine on that one tile. So if he wants a castle, he'd have to buy a lot of stone, or he'd have to move out between his towers to take the rest of it.
Market feels not unlikely. He kind of... The stone is so safe, he can easily go for it as well, though.
Yeah. Classic Pro's wood situation. I think we're seeing why double lumber camp sometimes is a choice. Like, he's even adding a second range now, because he really wants to go for the kill. But the wood line, like, he needs to think about that a little bit more. Maybe he'll just wait for TCs, but even then he doesn't have the stone. It's just my concern is this is a lot of aggression. If it still doesn't continue to pay off, could be wide open at home to the unique unit raids, which we know Vivi will go for.
And it will be the CA play for Classic Pro.
Yep.
That's going to be interesting.
I really like the CA play. I think that's a great move against the Burgundians here. And when you only have like 4 archers, it's not really worth it to even research crossbowmen. So good decision from him. He got value from the archers. He's continuing with archers on both wood lines. Vivi's going to attack the one on the other side. But even there, Classic Pro's micring. This is crazy aggression.
And Vivi, looking at the upgrades, could know that this is actually no Steplancer play, because the scouts don't have a single upgrade except Bloodlines, and the archers have Fletching.
Yeah, that's a good point. Vivi stonewalling, Vivi making more walls, which is all really smart to protect the stone and the gold. And Classic Pro still can't break him. Yeah, if this is someone who's not Classic Pro, right? If this is someone that's like, let's say, right beyond 50th. Okay, so like a high Silver League player. I think Vivi, he's able to figure it out, get his castle down. and still get the job done here. But Classic Pro's done a great job to apply pressure. It's just still, I'm almost more impressed with Vivi because Vivi's not dead yet. Like, how does he do this?
I only lost one single villager. Really, really solid.
Yeah.
CA is still active, and this will soon be a castle, and the rushing distance will be short, and Classic Pro is completely open, right? The moment we get to like 6 Costiers, it will be tough for Classic Pro.
Yeah, and I think Classic Pro will be feeling like, how have I not done more damage here? Or he may also be feeling like he's done enough damage, right? Just at least with the idle time. But, I mean, if you look at Vivi's villagers, there's a lot of weak ones, right? But they're going to the emergency room. They're not going to the cemetery. So, they're still able to work. Castle
All of them saved.
is going to go up, which means the units for Classic Pro need to leave. Vivi cannot forget about the house wall on the right side.
Economy not too shabby if we look at the resources there. Number camp at the front most likely now.
Do like the Cav Archer choice in the long run, especially with Mongols. I like the Classic Pro's on 2 TCs while Vivi's on 1. Classic Pro goes in. He was clearly paying attention to this. Vivi will likely clear this, but it's at least a positive for Classic Pro that the units for Vivi have to go back to deal with this instead of somewhere else. I love the Monastery choice from Classic Pro 2 to possibly convert the units from Vivi as he still continues to look for damage.
Would go for a tower behind that wood line if he wanted to, but CA already doing a very reasonable job here.
Yeah. All right, so this unit, its first attack is pretty insane. It's 8 plus 20, but after that, it has to recharge, and then it's 8 base attacks. So if you're attacking before it recharges, so the damage output is insane initially, and then Vivi will likely pull back. But the HP is similar to a knight. Mongol Cav Archers fire faster. Mongols don't have the greatest monks, but a couple monks can help with conversions, and Classic Pro doesn't seem scared of these things. Well played.
No monks coming around as well. 30C being dropped for Classic Pro. Distance still short, and I wouldn't be surprised if Vivi is soon thinking about adding another town center.
Yeah. And Vivi's food eco is really good, and this is where you can fall apart, right? You're just so exposed. And Vivi's going to force a reaction from you in one area. This is the first time Vivi sees Classic Pro's base in the entire game.
Well, really good spot then, right? Directly running into the arguably most exposed resource spot.
That's true. I'd actually love to see the ballistics upgrade come in eventually. I know he probably can't justify it now because he needs farms. But then outposts all around the map, if this is how Vivi's going to play it.
Yeah, could make lots of sense. Relic count still 0-0. Bit shocked that Vivi couldn't focus on that yet. Relic positioning, let's see how much he sees. Knows about 1 relic only.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Having never scouted, it's actually more important that he hasn't scouted relics than even Classic Pro's base at this point, because he's going to figure that out. But I mean, it's 8 CA. It's 12 Coustier here. Like, I've seen Vivi win these types of games before. As he loops in underneath the TC on the left, Classic Pro reacts a little bit late, so he loses Vills. This is what Vivi likes to do, Nilly. He is behind in villagers, but his eco is not idled like it is for Classic Pro right now.
It's like the focus needs to be ballistics next. And I think the monk count could have been a bit higher for my liking.
Yeah.
Just so much easier if you have like 3-4 monks at home preparing conversions.
I think something Classic Pro did an amazing job at, though, is his TC positions.
Yeah.
Every TC's perfect. You've got stone, gold, wood around every one. And it's kind of in a line, too. So that has helped him a lot here. I think husbandry as well, if you don't have it, is really needed for Classic Pro. But the reason we're not seeing ballistics yet, and the reason we're not seeing husbandry, is because he needs wood for more CA. He needs gold for CA and monks. And then he also he's spending a lot of food on villagers out of these TCs.
It's 20 villages ahead. So that's a really nice advantage for him. Not too far away from getting a castle eventually as well. Got some conversions against the Costiers. And thinking about more relics, finally, Vivi is adding some TCs 2 at a time.
Yep, 2 at a time. But, you know, Vivi has gotten to his unit But at what cost, right? Like, he's lost a lot of them now. The Cav Archer play from Classicpro has worked out. TC will actually be spotted, and Vivi's sending weak villagers there. So the scout that Classicpro set up there, probably just for monks, is going to find a villager kill.
It must be nice. Maybe a second one. Nope, won't get there.
Nice bounce back game from Classicpro here.
Only one single armor upgrade there for the Cossiers that really benefit from the second armor.
Yeah. The Monk's always sitting underneath TCs if Vivi shows up. Ballistics will be in soon. TC will be denied. Classicpro also quick walled in the backside of his base. He's playing amazing. That is a scary amount of Coustier, though, if you're up against Vivi. The Classicpro's always ready.
Lovely. Not enough monks, I feel.
Yeah, I really feel like this shows the strength of Classicpro, not just as a player, Nilly, but like mentally, because the first game could have been so frustrating. Like, man.
Absolutely.
Like, your whole game plan was ruined. He played well, I felt, but he just didn't get the army switch. Really impressive job from him. Because if he loses this, and he will have known this, he's down to gold again, right?
No. Well, honestly, he is like likely to go up again, but still, you're missing out a whole season on platinum.
Yeah, whole season of platinum. Obviously, was in a bit of a tough group here. It always felt like it was going to be tough for him to go playoffs. Maybe next season the group's a bit easier. We don't know what that will look like. Big fight here from Vivi underneath the TC. And the monks are on the way from Classicpro. I'm not sure I like the castle spot for Classicpro. I actually think I would have preferred it where Vivi tried to TC in the north. Kind of where Vivi's Siege Workshop is, but maybe that's would be a bad spot.
Really tough to say. I think actually this is the moment where some stone walls make the life so much easier for you.
Yeah, maybe.
You kind of want to funnel the Cossiers through one single area.
Oh, wow. Vivi underneath the TC. Classicpro responds. Kills will happen there, though. And then the monks also go down for Vivi. And Vivi hasn't even reacted over here.
So happy to see the kills.
Yeah, Classicpro just is like, don't move. No sudden movements. He won't realize it. Finally, Vivi realizes.
Another town center here. Costier, reasonably low. And Vivi is still stuck on 2 town centers because the one at the top got denied.
Yeah, and he was so late to the town centers. The concern for Classicpro right now is that his army is forward. It is out of position, and Vivi will know he's behind and has the stone for a castle. I could see this getting really awkward in a second. Oh, man, the light cav from Vivi. Perfect position to kill all the monks.
Oh, that's so expensive.
And this would be an open invitation for Vivi to move forward. Here he goes.
5 monks? 5 monks down?
No way. It's going to happen. The castle's going to go up. I think Classicpro's in trouble. His cav archers are stuck on the other side. Oh, that is such a good castle.
Oh, man. And the Seer, what can they do on the other side? Vivi this time sees it instantly. They won't find too much.
And I mean, they're going to wreck the numbers, right? The cav archers is all about numbers. And how many times have we seen Vivi with forward castles and this unit somehow get wins? There's going to be villagers exposed everywhere for Classicpro.
Uh-oh, that could be true. That town centers, lots of villagers dying at the bottom. Now some trying to fight off against the Rams. They will get punished for that.
No way. He is 50 villagers behind, but his unit is so strong. The first attack is 8 plus 20. So difficult to stop this. This is why Vivi plays on. This is why Vivi goes for this strategy, because he's always feels comfortable, always feels like he has a chance.
Now double Cossier production as well.
Yeah,
another
seriously.
nice thing for him.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. His gold access is actually kind of awkward on the front of his base. That could get raided. I mentioned the mental toughness from Classicpro before. He really needs it now. Because I think he probably felt like, okay, we've got this. But now he's probably not so sure.
Gets closer, yeah. And that's a lot of villagers at the top that he kind of splits off from the rest of his base. I think looping around, going to the left-hand side might have been a better option. And look at that. Twice in one day we will see herbal medicine.
Yeah, seriously, just to heal up those units. Now it's Cav Archers and Mangadai now. And it was never a question on if Cav Archer and Mangudai was good. It was just that Classic Pro didn't control this area. And I did feel like this hill was going to be the most important because it's directly between the player bases. But, I mean, Classic Pro's going to click Imp, and Vivi's spending all of his food and gold on these units. So that's not realistic for Vivi, which means Vivi needs to find more damage. He's still 50 villagers behind.
Imping is a nice thing, but can he really afford either like heavy CA or elite Mangudai? Pretty unlikely, so most likely it's only for Bracer. By the way, Classic Pro now with 44 on stone.
Yeah, I know. I was gonna say, look at how much he has on stone. That's what happens when you're idled so much, and he has to run away with his CA now because he's charged up and he's healed up and he's ready to go. Oh man, this is gonna be the worst early imp eco ever, with 116 villagers.
Oh, no wheelbarrow, no second wood upgrade, gets more raids in the back. This is pretty wild.
Yeah, it really is. And for Vivi, he's going to drop another castle. At Classic Pro, he could lose all this eco up here. He doesn't know that Vivi is 30 vills behind. I don't think Vivi will care about that right now.
Villagers, seems like some of them can save themselves, but I think Vivi could just commit against the house.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Attack the house, get through, deny the castle. I mean, Vivi's castle could contribute to kill some of those vills. Vivi went in with
three. The rest is dead.
Yeah, that castle will not go up. Oh my god. And Nilly, it's like when you go imp, you invest a lot of resources. You need imp to give you benefit, right? And that would be upgrades, and that would be army. Bracer can come in, but the army count, it's not that high. I think Vivi could still find more kills here.
But Classic Pro is finding quite some kills at the bottom right, or the right side of the map.
Oh!
Bit of exposed woodline, holy moly.
Well, I mean, it's kind of funny, right? The problem for him was that he went forward, but here he doesn't want to only react. So well playing Classic Pro there. And he can also make trebs now, Nilly, which means that he could take down the castles that Vivi is using so wonderfully with the unique unit. Bracer's on the way now.
Can he protect them well enough, though? Seems like the double castle there to attack the base of Vivi makes a lot of sense. But those two castles at the top, I think they will be tough to contest.
So Vivi is struggling to attack all the time and defend his own eco. Classic Pro is also in a similar boat. We've got Mangudai against Fustilier here, full unique units. Bracer's now in, though. I think for Classic Pro, as long as you... Like, I think the key, after you have, like, 2 trebs, is just Mangudai. You don't go for 4 trebs here. Because if you have the Mangudai, you're fine. So just get a treb or 2, and then all the rest of your wood and gold goes Mangudai from these 3 castles. Maybe you'll be okay.
14 Mangudai on the field, 16 on food. The overall resource collected really bad for both players.
Yeah. Double castle stack for Classic Pro will protect his trebuchets there. As Vivi's in the back of Classic Pro's base. Vivi is never getting to imp, though. He's not finding engagements against the Mangudai. There's soon going to be 20 Mangudai. Vivi needs some good news here. He needs to find maybe another dozen or so villager kills. Maybe he could take the treb, but Classic Pro's fully walling in the treb. So many players don't do that.
Yeah, really clever play. But Classic Pro very focused on that while he's getting raided in the back. And that's a big raid again. Look at that. Those group, of course, he already got 30 villager kills.
No way! Classic Pro! And if he hasn't noticed yet, he might not notice now. What is this game?
And Vivi getting really close in population all of a sudden.
What is this game? And Vivi's gonna go in for another raid. But Vivi could lose all of his castles. And guys, if Classic Pro loses this game, he's relegated. Like, there's huge consequences here. We're seeing the pressure and the stress of the situation as 2 trebs go down. Vivi's like, you didn't wall those in. Oh my goodness.
Wasn't Vivi behind by 40 villagers at one point in this game?
He was. Yeah, he's down by 40 vills. He's killed 94. It is now even. And,
Sick.
And still, I think Classic Pro is in the better position.
Oh, he's a full H ahead, yeah.
Yeah. And it's just Mangudai, right?
4 against 4 relics. 3 still up for grabs.
Yeah. Good luck like getting relics with all the focus on the trebs and the units at this point. Classicpro. Maybe he didn't know he lost all those villagers, so maybe it doesn't hurt him mentally right now. Nice micro. Microing his best here. Can't go too far because there's a castle from Vivi, but he's using the hill. Now he's gone too far, but he's killed a lot of these units. Oof.
Yeah, hill advantage was still really, really nice. Holy moly.
Yeah, and he will defend from the raid on the left there. And Vivi's down to 6. Coustier, he's in Castle Age. We might see the GG here shortly. But what a game and what a series. All the more important that Classicpro was able to get ahead when he did, right? If he was only ahead by 20 vills, if his castles were delayed, everything that happened here, if it was delayed by a couple more minutes, I think you could make an argument that Vivi pulls off the comeback here.
Yeah, I think so as well. Oh, and now lots of Mango Dice next to Vivi's town center. Vivi, around 100 population for the last 12 minutes, it feels like.
Yeah. He did kill another Treb there. Classicpro, I get what he's trying to do, but, you know, at a certain point, you just have to actually just sit your Mangodai next to the Trebs.
Elite Mangodai. That's sick.
I don't think you have a good answer to counter this if you are in the Imperial Age. Right? The unit is insanely strong, close to full upgrades too, as Vivi tries to build the defensive castle and is getting wrecked. The castle will go up. Classicpro will back away. Vivi has 13 military units, and the Mangodai are going to kill so much faster now.
Beautiful expansion by Classicpro. Goes to the bottom. He has so much map control. Yeah, he's still getting raided. Population still not crazy good, but it makes it so tough for Vivi to really know where to send his Costiers.
Yep. Vivi snipes another Treb. He's being a real pest here. Snipes another Treb. He's like, you haven't killed me yet, but he isn't expanded anywhere economically. That's the issue. He can't move around. He's just stuck. The only thing that's keeping himself safe, of course, is his castles.
Yeah, but those castles at the top, right? One now at the right-hand side, but tricky with the positioning there. It just feels like Classicpro can continue elite Mangodai production, and Vivi not finding the answer in Castle Age for sure.
Yeah. I mean, from what Vivi's seeing, you know, he's not losing his castles yet. He clearly is not seeing the fact that his starting TC has Mangodai underneath it. Maybe he noticed that. Maybe that has him tap out. What a game. I really thought that it was just classic Vivi. Why are you doing this on graveyards again? But you see why, right? Because he almost brought it back. Classicpro got ahead, held on, relied on the CA and the Mangodai, and we have ourselves a 1-1 series where the next game decides who goes up and then who goes down.
So crazy. You're playing for 5 weeks, and then it comes down to one single game to decide your whole fate of basically a whole season.
Yeah, seriously. And it always felt like, you know, Vivi, Classicpro, and Sobek in this group would be the ones fighting for that 4th place spot. There's also the wild scenario where Vivi does win the next game. Obviously, Vivi is in 4th place then, but that is also the only scenario in which Sobek could somehow survive and send Vivi
then
down.
overtake Vivi.
Yeah,
exactly.
because he needs
Vivi and Classicpro.
Yeah. The only chance for Sobek to overtake both of these two is if Vivi wins 2-1 here and then he wins 3 over Zatato. So maybe getting a bit of ahead of ourselves. But wow, what a game. 50k res collected for Classicpro. Total vills I want to see, though. He had 206 villagers in that game in total. Ended the game with 106. Here we are, final game. Winner likely stays alive here, assuming that Sobek does not 3-0 Tato. But, man, what a game. And you just mentioned it, Nilly. Like, Vivi had a really good game against Viper. I think he had a better approach than Viper in that game on El Dorado. It was one of the earlier rounds. So Vivi happy to pick this as his home map here. He's gone for the Malay, and Classicpro's gone for the Malians, and we've seen both these civs play out pretty nicely here on this map.
Malay, actually, we have not seen it that much, right?
Yeah, it's true.
Who else played it except Vivi?
Viper did, and Vivi did. But...
okay, Viper did it against Sobek, right? Yeah, I've seen the screenshots.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see Vivi use the fish booming around the TC strategy here. But anyways, I mean, both civs play out towards water, and you and I both seem to think, right, that water control is just so massive here.
Yeah. It's obviously like such an incredible amount of food. Just like in this screen that I'm just showing, like close to 3,000 food already, and it's just so much more all around the map. And if the opponent is going for land units, it's basically impossible to raid them.
Yep.
And that's another nice advantage. Distance pretty long to the opponent, so we have said it over and over again. Most of the time, whoever wins water wins the game.
Yeah, and I would just wonder if Vivi will be thinking that, because he actually had done a better job on water than Viper. That was at the point where I was like clearly very aware that, you know, even Viper didn't really realize the importance of the outer water. And unfortunately for him, like Vivi had the outer water, but his castle in the middle allowed Viper just a little bit of gold. And we had some crazy things. I think Viper was Romans. He had like guard towers and mangonels and monks. And it was kind of a gut-wrenching loss for Vivi there. And maybe had he won that game, the whole storyline for this group would have changed, right? Maybe Viper would have potentially needed a different result in the final week. I'm not going to get into it. Maybe here, Vivi, with one win, would have already been okay. We'd never know. So hopefully he can redeem himself here. But I expect the game to be shorter than most, but also at the same time like a long El Dorado game, because I think both players would have known they need to win this.
Yeah, everything on the line. It's so crazy. And then we have one of the most cutthroat maps, right?
Yeah.
In graveyards, you sometimes, or Arabia, you can do a mistake and can win your way into the game. Here it is sometimes you take one bad engagement and the game is completely over because you lost water and the middle at the same time.
Yeah, so I agree with you there. I think if I had to guess the approach, obviously water matters, but just with how Vivi played before, I think if anything, Vivi is going to opt to wall, skip out on Feudal Age Land Army, and then maybe just play towards water and a faster castle. I think with Malians saving so much on their wood buildings, it would feel very natural for the Malians to try and combine water with land in some way.
Archer play could be something for both of them. Gold positioning, close to the town center, even relatively defensive for Vivi, who looks to be fully walled pretty soon, actually. So he could play mainly water and then think about a faster castle age timing. While Classicpro with his map, he needs to invest more into feudal.
Yeah. And we saw in the previous game, Vivi likes to wall, Classicpro likes to pressure lands. And the worry I've always felt for the players who pressure land is that's all you're doing. If you're not also focusing on the water, if you're not getting the value, usually you're going to struggle when it comes to Castle Age. Also, small thing is we've seen a lot of players who win water go light cav. So Malay light cav is kind of trash.
The players that win water often lose the center, then have no gold. The opponent goes Monk Siege, and that's why they go light cav. Right?
Yeah,
But yeah, certainly Malay, they are more reliant on gold than most other civilizations.
Yeah, whereas like for the Malay, it's probably like maybe more pikemen. I still really foresee Vivi going to this stone. He did it against Viper. He dropped the castle in the middle. And I think he could try the same thing here. Hasn't clicked up yet, Vivi, but does advance faster to the next stage. Actually going for his 6th fishing ship off one dock right now.
Yeah, this is a really greedy eco approach. He feels like he's so walled with such an easy map that it shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah. Classicpro could wall as well. It wouldn't be able to wall his gold as easily, just because of the positioning of that, but he just hasn't really opted for that. And he'll know this is the second game in a row. Like, this is Vivi just trying to play defensive. But, like, for those wondering why doesn't Classicpro use his faster feudal age to attack there? Well, if he were to attack, Vivi had enough villagers around and his scout to be able to win the fight. So you just kind of have to leave so you don't get trapped in here.
Is Vivi building those mining camps intentionally? I've seen him do it a lot now, where he's not like building it directly facing the 2 spots, but one tile off.
Okay, so you think Is there a reason that he would do it?
I think it's bad. But he's so consistently doing it that I think he might think it's good.
Maybe his monitor resolution is warped, so it's like... So it looks like it's straight? I don't know. I haven't really paid attention to it. I'll have to pay attention to it in Vivi games now. I love the approach, though. Double dock into fire galleys behind walls is really strong. Oh, and he's gonna steal. He's gonna steal food. So much food. Oh my god.
Let's see how much he can steal it, though, right? Like, they still need to get out.
Yeah, but he could just try and kill them. Oh, that's true. That's true. That's true. It is a temporary loss of turkey here for Classicpro. It kills one. Yeah, I think Classicpro will actually end up killing the scout, which, if anything... Oh, turkey's blocking the scout.
Yeah, I think if that makes it to your YouTube, it needs to be a short and cut.
Yeah, true. We don't... We will not show people the conclusion.
Yeah. Cut before I start talking.
It's all right. I'm used to doing that anyway, so... I'm just kidding. Okay. Well, 2 fires for Vivi. You've got 1 fire from Classicpro with more on the way. And we do have the double dock approach from Classicpro. So on top of that, he's gone scouts. Can't accomplish much with the scouts at the moment, though.
Yeah, this is weird, right? He saw that Vivi was fully walled, and he still committed to 4 scouts.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, maybe your eco setup was like this, but then just move some villagers and build units that can actually achieve something.
Yeah,
unless obviously he breaks in here.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say, I agree with you, but I think Vivi's struggling a little bit with the multitasking as he micros on the water. Oh my god, Vivi gets there just in time. And in the middle, nice work from Classicpro. Kills Vivi's scout there. So Vivi never saw the range from Classicpro. This is heavy feudal age pressure. Archers and scouts. This could really do some damage here.
And behind this, his castle age timing won't be delayed too much, right? He simply had to build his walls a bit later. Still had 5 fishing ships working as well. Won't lose a single scout against the spearmen.
Oh.
And Vivi forced into a defensive tower.
Nice shot from Vivi, though. He looked to the middle, which you always have visible in this map, and he saw the archer. Now, I don't like the tower location. I would have preferred it be 5 more tiles to the right. But the thinking to hold against this with a tower will still be helpful because he can still take his gold. He also could kill Classicpro's fish if he stops moving with his fire galley. Like, he could kill all the Classicpro's fish, actually.
This is really sloppy by Classicpro, right? That he stopped producing there.
Yep. And it's just his focus is on land, right? It's just the same old script. We've seen it time and time again here on this map. Nice hold there from Vivi. Vivi's got... Presently, he's got opportunities on water, but Classicpro will actually end up clearing up some of the fires. And Classicpro
Nice
shifting
save.
to the other side now.
Saving that last fishing ship seems like it. Now the question... What are we building on land? It feels like Classicpro can easily go for a town center in the middle.
Yeah.
And probably siege behind this.
I mean, I think the first upgrade you should get in every single El Dorado game is War Galley. That's probably a dumb statement, but it just feels so important, right? And we've discussed that. That if things are even on water and you reach Castle Age first, I feel like that upgrade is the first thing you want to upgrade. But yeah, Siege feels very, very nice here, especially when Malay Knights aren't that strong. And you would think that they wouldn't opt to go for a stable in most cases.
Yeah. I like the War Galley upgrade. Obviously makes the ships faster, plus produces them quicker, which is the big bonus if we only have 3 docks working for ourselves.
Yeah, agree there. And we'll see if Vivi is able to stabilize on water here. Res collected's probably quite close.
Yeah,
and little counterattack from Vivi just went right to Classicpro's base. Classicpro had nothing here.
Villager saved.
True, villager saved there. You gotta imagine one's gonna go down though, and Vivi does get that one. Could get more. Classicpro needs to back away. He's not doing so. Sloppy moments here, and we're seeing maybe the moment, Nilly. Just how stressful this is for these guys, knowing the stakes.
Ooh, let's take a look. Archers running under the town center, trying to dodge. Not easy though. And yeah, scouts and skirm can easily chase this away. Ooh, Classicpro, that was a bit of a hiccup. 10 workers behind right now.
Yeah, he is 10 workers behind. Malay to advance faster to the next stage. The only thing of value from Castle Age that we've seen gained for Classic Pro, and he's way ahead, is that Knight. And then the Monastery, I guess. And then the TC in the middle. So it's all coming in for him. No War Galley upgrade. Vivi still with decent amounts of Navy and fish. So both players with decent fish counts, but Vivi's had just that one more.
7. Let's think about what we would expect from the top players. Like a Hera?
Yeah, they'd have
Would he
like,
be at 12 fishing ships here?
12. Yep, you're aggressive on water, and then you add fish behind, and then you hold for their counterattack. That's kind of the idea.
Oh,
man.
TC in danger. We needed the siege workshop before the town center.
And before the monastery, for that matter, right? If the siege would have been out, Vivi would not be able to move forward, but Vivi just boldly moves forward, and maybe Vivi feels like, because he's pretty confident, maybe he feels like clearly he doesn't have the upgrades. Like, I would be thinking that Classic Pro is going to get armor, and he's going to have bloodlines, and then my archers can never move forward there. So really sick move from Vivi to be aggressive. Obviously quite risky, but worked out
Maybe
for him.
knew, okay, I was just in your gold. If you try to get all those gold-heavy upgrades, then it's unlikely that you can afford enough on water, so I will take the advantage on at least one side.
Yeah, makes sense to me. Classic Pro still defending in some areas on water, but somehow a fire got through and is killing some of his fish. It is clear to me Classic Pro is shifting into a land focus here. And he's dropping his town center in the middle. It's still been denied by Vivi. Vivi is such a pest here, and Vivi is soon going to have Castle Age and the stone to make a castle.
And we had that before. The Scorpions simply not finding enough damage. Now they're getting some shots in. Ooh, and the water just might be the winning thing here for Vivi. He's looking pretty hot. Just needs to save his crossbow numbers, but he's down to 7 archers in total.
Yeah, seriously. Finally, TC completes. Even a scout comes out from Vivi here.
Double stable. Goes for knights?
I like it. I like one knight against the Scorpions is actually amazing.
Is an elephant better with melee?
I think the lack of speed on the elephant's a real problem. Having done it enough times. Oh, man. Okay, so the army of value for Classic Pro is a knight and 2 Scorpions. He cannot easily deny a castle, but the Scorpions could really help. Classic Pro.
There's no natural Vivi castle that he can build that denies the
all
whole
of it.
gold and stone.
Yeah, that's true. That's a very good point. And that was Vivi's issue when he castled against Viper. I mean, he was to the gold first, so in that particular game, more of an opportunity, but... Oh, man, Nilly. I mean, I would want that one tile closer, personally. Every tile matters, but that castle should go up.
Just one hammer and the TC was shooting, but was enough. Scouts around there, 2 Scorpions. I don't think they will find enough scouts suiciding themselves to buy some time.
Yeah, maybe that was it. I thought maybe he thought there was a monk in there.
Surviving.
Very awkward moments here for Vivi. There's quite a few weak villagers in there. It's worth it to sacrifice the knight, though, to push back the Scorpions, and the castle will go up. But Classic Pro can still take golds. He could just drop a new TC back there. There's no siege from Vivi to push the TC. Oh, Vivi comes in with the army from the other side. And they get rocked by the Scorpions.
Oh, boy. Classic Pro has now everything on stone, so he can build a counter castle and be secure. And behind this, actually water won by Classic Pro, it feels like.
Well, yeah, with Navy numbers. That's true. If he moves out, he will win water.
It's 8 fire galleys against 1 demo.
Yeah, it's a good point. There's just the fishing ships for Vivi are still alive, and they're very far away from it all, so we'll see. Vivi's archers go in. Classic Pro's not building this with a lot of villagers, but the Karambit warriors loop around. The Scorpions are exposed.
It's actually 12 villagers, some of them hidden there. Vivi, is he trying to build a tower against it? He realizes he can't stop this castle.
Okay, and now not having the water could be a big deal here for Vivi. He is farming a lot, but those 7 fishing ships, should be exposed.
Does he think he's Khmer?
What's he doing?
Oh, I shouldn't ask you. Like, the Vivi farms.
Yeah, don't.
Jesus Christ.
He's busy.
I know that you don't. I know that you don't see anything wrong with this.
No, I just think normally I say that micro's so good, but his micro struggled as well. It's the moment, Nilly. It's the moment. That's what those farms are, all right? Those types of farms are for big moment players. That's all what I'm trying to say. I'm still searching for my big moments.
Okay.
Gabetto, another infantry unique unit. A really good unit to have here against the Karambit Warriors.
Funny how many unique units we saw this set.
Yeah, that's you're not wrong. It's been the set of unique units. Vivi still able to take a little bit of res in the middle. If he can just win this little tower war, he could still take the gold on the right. But I prefer Classicpro's position. Classicpro's farms, for what it's worth, they look a lot better than Vivi's. His fishing situation, his water situation is better than Vivi's. But still could go either way.
Will be the better unit.
Yeah.
What's the good answer against Gebettos? Typically something like crossbows, some siege units.
Yeah. Well, I think as long as Vivi... It's so interesting. As long as Vivi keeps his tower up and shoots Classicpro's down, he can still take quite a bit of gold there. Like, this is critical. And the Gebettos were in the ram. They hop out of the ram. They kill the villagers. The ram, though, ends up going down.
Tower still shooting. Villagers dying, and it feels like Classicpro simply has more workers.
He does. He absolutely does. He's got more farmers as well. It makes sense for both players to try and mix in as many units as possible. Is it worth it to maybe idle your TCs to get Bodcanero for your towers? Or even getting Guard Tower right now for Classicpro? Might be worth it.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think just going to Mangonels would be my approach.
Yeah, that makes sense. He is going to add a Mangonel. I mean, he is winning the tower war right now. And Vivi looking more and more desperate. But at least for Vivi, he knows, like, there's nothing else to work on right now. Like, this is it. He's still taking gold, remember. He's next to that castle. Both players have a similar amount on gold. I like the Karambit counterattack from Vivi. It takes the focus from Classicpro away from the tower, which means that he might forget about the Mangonel. No.
Safe.
Karambit's also able to split up, too. Like, one Karambit can still kill 20 villagers. It just takes some time. You can find the location for your Vivi. There's Guard Tower. I think Guard Tower could be epic here for Vivi. He's going to kill the Mangonel.
Mangonels won't do anything then.
Yeah. Also still Bodkin. Also still Karambits in the back, split up from the Gebetto. I'm not sure where the other Gebetto have gone. Vivi's still in this game.
They died. I think the Gebetto died.
They must have. That, or they were pulled away. I mean, the Karambit Warriors so cheap, so hard to track. We called Vivi a big moment player earlier. Look at his farms in the back. Those are big moment farms. He's still got golds. And honestly, he could, if he shoots down the tower from Classicpro, he could place another tower that denies most of the gold Classicpro is currently taking.
Problem for Vivi. Look at how the resources spawn in the center. Normally it's a mix of gold and stone. But how Vivi has access to the center, he can't really get any stone.
That's fair. Yeah, it's a good point. There's maybe a stone tile that Classicpro could get. Guard Tower and Bodkin's a huge upgrade here. I think Classicpro needs stables. I think he needs to consider light cap. I'm really concerned that maybe not. I mean, Gebetto's still good. It's just so tricky right now.
Gebetto is a fine unit. Now goes for the counter-attack, Tristan. He's in the wood of Vivi.
He is in the wood of Vivi. And Vivi hasn't faced up against something like this in a long time. Ever. And the farming eco's exposed as well, Nilly. And what a great find from Classicpro. This is the spot to go. You raid me, I raid you.
Oh, man. Now 40 population lead. We'll find some more villager kills. And Gebettos are so good in this. And that's why we felt Malians should have the advantage in those situations. Simply a crazy good unit.
Yeah, it is. Yep. And it's perfect for what he's up against. It's high damage, low HP versus low damage, low HP. So if they're both weak units overall, the higher damage is going to be superior. Plus, you've got some range involved. Still Karambit raids from Vivi, and Classicpro's chasing him. Classicpro going to TC his hill on the right. And Vivi has taken out the tower from Classicpro in the middle. Whoa.
Ram will be stopped, though. Still has access to the gold. Bit surprised how few villagers Classic Pro is sending on there, but right now he keeps producing the Gebettos without any market use.
Yeah. Neither player having relics. I feel like relics would be helpful here, but that is forgetting that they are focused on their town centers, their farms, their military. It really does feel like with 45 on food right now for Classic Pro, that he's moments away of being able to finish Vivi off. Kind of a funny and very notable thing to mention that I didn't mention. Look at the HP on Classic Pro's castle. That is slowly getting shot down.
Oh yeah, true.
So, like, there's a chance if Vivi could show up with Rams at some point and Classic Pro's out of position, I don't think Classic Pro's actually realize how weak his castle is at the moment.
Stables. Nice quick walls here. Really nice quick walls against the Karambits.
Good find. He also stood kind of slightly in front of the Karambits, which was good positioning. As stables going up, probably thinking of light cav. There is a world where with this eco, Classic Pro may even consider imp. A little risky because you have to spend 800 gold on that. And gold is not exactly easy to come by. Vivi will hope to drop another tower. And Vivi needs to win this game. If Vivi does not win this game, he is relegated back down to gold. There goes Classic Pro on the way to the Imperial Age. His castle is more than halfway down. He needs to recognize that. And it's going to be tough for him to take enough gold to maybe even make Trebs here. No relics.
One Treb alone would be good enough.
Yeah, that's true.
Gebetto production needs to continue. So, like, yeah, if this castle dies, Classic Pro might still actually lose this game, right?
Yeah.
Rams should maybe attack the other side. Could prepare some Petards here as an option. But looking at the population, feels like Classic Pro will have too much meat on the field.
Yeah, I mean, Light Cav should start pumping out of the stables. There's still Gebetto everywhere. That gold, that line of gold is just rangeable enough for Classic Pro. Both castles have plenty of kills here. It's 10 kills, though, for Classic Pro's castle, which is more. The Gebettos microing against the Karambit Warriors, while also the other group is in on the wood line, where Vivi's original tower will help. Great job from Classic Pro, though.
That's true. That's the original tower from the 11-minute attack.
Yep. I thought ahead. I don't know. There's only 8 Karambit Warriors for Vivi. Make it 9. They're not going to last against the 17 Gebetto out there. He's so far behind here in control. And like you said, he has no answer to one Trep. Just one Trep would eventually take out everything Vivi has in the middle. The Karambits haven't been it. And this is before we see a big ball of light cap from Classic Pro, which he can afford to do.
53 on food right now. Pretty crazy. Sell some more wood. Nah, Karambits at the top. They will kill the 20 villagers if they have enough time.
Yeah, fair point. Classic Pro still looking to kill villagers in Vivi's base. Vivi's still reacting. I'm sure his heart will sink when he sees the Imperial Age from Classic Pro. He'll also know that means Trebs. Classic Pro selling some res to just get the resources for what he needs. He is still losing villagers in the north. Vivi has 1 or 2 chances here to maybe snipe the Trebs and hope that the Karambits in the north still keep getting kills.
There should be so many Gebettos protecting the trap, right? It's one single thing Classic Pro needs to focus on.
Yeah. Yeah, which would explain why maybe he hasn't noticed the Karambits in the north. But, I mean, he's going to bring Light Cav into the woodline as well, and he'll have Imp Armor on this. Vivi has no response to this. He has no easy answer to the Treb, and Vivi taps out. Classic Pro went down in the first game. And then even in the beginning of the second game, I was a little concerned that he may feel like, man, my aggressive style continues to be countered. But with 2 crazy games, Classic Pro wins. This does mean that Classic Pro is alive and well, and he will be back in Platinum for the next season. And that Vivi will be relegated back down to gold. And I think with him, Sobek. I think that much is confirmed now. A crazy series, though, Nilly. It was really way closer than I thought. Vivi put up a hell of a fight.
I think it was as close as I thought. Like, those 2 players are really close, right?
Yep.
They are, as I said, around this like 20, 25 number in the world. And they should be exactly on the verge between Platinum and Gold League.
Yep. And Classic Pro able to hang on. Vivi, I think this is really good for him. I was really impressed. I didn't get to watch as much Gold League in Season 2 because they were happening at the same time. But I think he had won his group with something like 12 wins against a really good group. Here, I think it's kind of tough for everyone that's not Leary, Viper, or Tato, right? And so he was able to beat Sobek 2-1, snag a game here off Classic Pro. But ultimately, I think for Classic Pro, he came in more prepared. He put up a greater fight this season. So happy to see that he been able to get the job done. And that'll be back in Platinum next time.
Nice.
It's unfortunate for Sobek. I'm sure Sobek was looking at this game, and he was thinking maybe Vivi could snag a win for him, because that does mean that even if Sobek beats Tato 3-0, I believe he is done.
Yeah, feels very likely.
Because I think he would be tied with, at best case scenario for Sobek, he would then be tied with Classic Pro, and Classic Pro would beat him in the tiebreak. Yes, that would be the case. He would still go down. So still be fun to watch Tato Sobek tomorrow.